Rushy is probably the most famous piano piece of the 21st century. Composed by sheet music boss, it went viral not only because it's very fun and has great potential as a meme, but also because it's literally impossible. The sheer amount of notes makes it so that only a computer can actually play it. Although many pianists have made amazing arrangements of Rushy that can be played with 2 human hands, though only possible for real virtuosos. Those versions have insane left-hand jumps and super fast runs. As you can imagine, these are pretty hard to pull off. But here at HDpiano, we spent countless hours making a version of Rushy that you can actually play. But wait, I know that sounds ridiculous, but before you close this video and write it off as clickbait, let me explain what I mean. For example, you can actually play the beginning as it is. We just need an E in the left hand, that then opens up to an octave, another E, and then we build it up with a third E in the right hand. Repeat that faster and faster, add some pedal, and then jump down to an A. That's the whole intro. 3 notes, and then that A down there. Again. And that's it. That's everything you need. And the next part is super simple too. You just need 4 notes in the left hand, starting with A, C, and E. And then that A goes down to an E. And repeat the top 2 notes, and go back and forth. And that's all you need to do. If you're able to play this rhythm, then you have 30% of our Rushy arrangement at your fingertips. Pause this video and then come back when you've got this locked in. Now the signature motif of this piece is repeated notes, and we're gonna use 2 fingers, the 3rd finger and your thumb. Once again, that's your middle and your thumb. And the way you're gonna play this is, when the 3rd finger goes up, the thumb goes down, and vice versa. That's how you're gonna do it. An important thing to note is not to move your wrist, just your fingers. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Yeah, you got it. Practice this technique so that it sounds a little faster and a little shorter every time. Now the next thing we're going to do is put those 2 things together, and you just need 2 E's in the right hand for every note or pair of notes in your left hand. So like... So if you can play that intro, and this left hand, and these repeated E's, and get them faster and faster, you're ready to make your first YouTube short. Now we're ready to learn the first melody. Now, I'm not going to take you through this note by note because you can actually learn this first part for free on HDpiano. But there's some things that are going to make this really easy. That same technique that you're using on the E, you're going to jump up and use on this D, and then play 4, 3, 2, 4. With these 3 fingers, go 1, 2, 3, 4, B, da, dee, da. Then down to C with the same pattern. Then play those 4 Bs and finish on F sharp, B, and G sharp. Now the left hand has some more notes. But if you notice, the rhythm is exactly the same. So it's 1 low note and 2 top notes above it, a low note and 2 notes above it. And this applies to every chord. And once again, in the right hand, we play 2 notes for every note or pair of notes in the left hand. Except right there at the end. Now this is probably the trickiest part of the first section. And actually, though it seems tricky, there's a lot of close positions that are easy to find, except for this little arpeggio at the end. But I'm sure that with a little bit of practice and some good HDpiano instruction, you'll be able to play this in 5 minutes. Let's hear that section all together. Practice it for a bit and you'll be able to play it even faster. This middle section is actually easier than it looks. Your hand actually stays mostly in the same position here, with a little bit of jump here. But once again, there's nothing you can't learn in 5 minutes on HDpiano. Repeat that first part, and then we have a different ending here. This entire melody is in this small range of notes. All you have to do is learn the order to play them in. And then in the left hand, we only have one new position to learn, which is this one. Which is actually the same as this first position, but moving everything 1, 2, 3 keys up. And back down to the first position. And then we go back down to a position that we already know. So there's no new information in this section. You can learn this whole middle section in under 15 minutes. Now, obviously, the trickiest part comes when the computer starts doing weird things that aren't possible to play. For example, it's impossible to play this left-hand part with the bottom notes duplicated in octaves, getting faster and faster, and also play these glissandos up and down while all at the same time playing this melody in the right hand in octaves. Clearly impossible. So what we're gonna do is, instead of playing the melody in multiple octaves at once, we're just gonna stick to a simple position here. It's gonna be A, C, and E. This is the magic of this part. And then in the left hand, instead of doing these crazy octave jumps, we're just gonna do the exact same thing we were doing before. So putting everything together, we're gonna put our right hand in this position, and instead of repeating it like that many times, which would get very tiring for your hand, we're just gonna play the bottom 2 notes and the top note and alternate between them. And this is the second signature movement of the HDpiano arrangement. You're gonna rotate your wrist. The movement comes from here. And go faster and faster. With a little practice, you're gonna be able to play it very fast. Now add that same left hand underneath this. Add in some pedal. And it sounds just as chaotic as the computer original. Listen how it sounds in the original recording. And then listen how our version sounds. Now you might be wondering, what are those other notes you're playing in the right hand? And why does it seem so complicated? I promise, it's the same, it's just 3 more chords. This chord is E, G sharp, and D. Then down to E, A, and C, and then D sharp, F sharp, and B. That's all it is. Learn these 3 positions, and you'll be ready to go. And then just like before, play the bottom 2 notes and the top note, and rotate your wrist between them. Second position, third position. I guarantee you can learn this in 10 minutes or less. And that's it. And the left hand does exactly the same as you learned in the first part. Come back to that first position. Then play that same melodic line. And now for a bonus section. Do you remember the part of Rush E that has Rush on the screen and the E on the screen written in the notes falling down on the blocks? We can actually do something that sounds exactly like that sounds. Using the same position in the left hand, starting slow at first. And what we're gonna do on the second grouping of notes, right here, 2, here, we're gonna add this chord, and we're gonna rotate our wrist and do it super fast like we did before, and just a little bit. There you go. That's the rush, and you can go down there to play the E too. So, rush, E, rush, E, rush, E. Play it a little faster now. And then start the melody again. And now for the craziest part of the piece. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're doing exactly the same thing we were doing before. You can see that my hands aren't moving too much, and it's the same here. You mostly just need to get your wrist in a new position, so instead of here, up here. So every note goes up 1. And then also in the left hand, everything goes up 1. And then that's it. Just keep rotating your wrist. Add some pedal. Now here you just have to relearn these 3 positions. But once again, this will just take you 5 minutes, just like you did before. And that's it. First position, second position, and third position. Just learn that new left hand like before. Once again. And now the ending for our arrangement is pretty simple. If you want a little extra effect, you can say E when you fall on the keys. And this is just one simple melody in the right hand. You can even support it in the middle there with your left hand, which will be doing nothing in the meantime. If you're feeling comfy, you can do the whole thing in your right hand, including this jump. But I don't recommend it because this jump is a little awkward. And then just big cluster of notes at the end there, just to close it all out. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this arrangement of Rush E from front to back with no commentary, just so you can see that my hands aren't moving very much, and though it sounds super impressive, it's actually not as hard as it seems. Let's go. Well, there you have it. I hope at this point you're convinced that here at HDpiano, we made a version of Rushy that's not only possible, but one that you can actually learn to play. And if you want to dive in and really learn this note by note so you can impress all your friends, head on over to HDpiano.com for the full lesson. You can also learn thousands of other songs there, and I guarantee it'll be worth your time. Thanks for watching.